In the early years of the 20th century, the United States witnessed a political drama of epic proportions, pitting two formidable figures against each other, Theodore Roosevelt and William Howard Taft. This rivalry, born out of friendship and shared ideals, would ultimately reshape the political landscape, leaving an indelible mark on the nation's history. The tale begins with Theodore Roosevelt, the larger-than-life figure who ascended to the presidency in 1901 after the tragic assassination of President William McKinley.
Roosevelt, a charismatic and dynamic leader, championed a progressive agenda that aimed to address the social and economic challenges brought about by the Industrial Revolution.
His vision for a square deal sought to balance the interests of labor, business, and the public.
However, Roosevelt was determined not to be a mere caretaker of the presidency.
In 1904, he secured his own mandate by winning the presidential election in a landslide, solidifying his reputation as a force to be reckoned with. His presidency was marked by a flurry of progressive reforms, including trust busting, consumer protection, and conservation efforts that expanded the national park system. As Roosevelt's second term came to an end in 1908, he handpicked William Howard Taft as his successor. Taft, a close friend and trusted confidant, was a conservative Republican known for his amiable demeanor and judicial background. Taft's nomination seemed to ensure the continuation of Roosevelt's progressive legacy, as he pledged to carry on the work of his predecessor. The transition, however, marked the beginning of a complex and, at times, tumultuous relationship between Roosevelt and Taft. While Taft initially embraced many of Roosevelt's progressive policies, subtle differences in their ideologies began to emerge. Roosevelt, the embodiment of the bull-moose spirit, advocated for more aggressive measures to curb corporate power and protect the interests of the common man. One of the pivotal issues that strained their relationship was the matter of trust busting.
Roosevelt had earned a reputation as the trust buster in chief for his aggressive antitrust actions. But Taft's approach was more cautious and legalistic.
As Taft pursued antitrust cases through the courts, Roosevelt grew increasingly frustrated, feeling that his protege was not living up to the progressive ideals they had championed together. The breaking point came with the Bollinger-Pinchot controversy in 1910. Gifford Pinchot, a close ally of Roosevelt and the head of the U.S.
Forest Service, accused Secretary of the Interior, Richard Bollinger, a member of Taft's cabinet, of favoring corporate interests over conservation.
Roosevelt, never one to shy away from a fight, threw his support behind Pinchot, further deepening the rift between the two former friends.
The tension between Roosevelt and Taft reached its zenith in the election of 1912. Unable to reconcile their differences within the Republican Party, Roosevelt decided to challenge Taft for the party's nomination. The Republican National Convention in Chicago became the battleground for the soul of the party, as delegates were forced to choose between the two titans.
The convention exposed the raw emotions and ideological divisions within the Republican Party. Roosevelt's supporters, known as the Progressive Party or Bull Moose Party, sought to carry on the legacy of the Square Deal. Taft's backers, representing the more conservative wing of the party, clung to traditional Republican values. In a dramatic turn of events, the Republican Party fractured, leading to the formation of the Progressive Party, with Roosevelt as its standard-bearer. The election of 1912 became a four-way contest, with Roosevelt, Taft, Democrat Woodrow Wilson, and Socialist Eugene V. Debs vying for the presidency. The campaign was a whirlwind of speeches, rallies, and political maneuvering.
Roosevelt, a natural orator and showman, crisscrossed the country, advocating for his new nationalism platform that called for a more active role of the federal government in regulating big business and promoting social justice.
Taft, in contrast, defended his more conservative approach, emphasizing the rule of law and adherence to constitutional principles. Woodrow Wilson, the Democratic candidate, benefited from the split in the Republican vote. With the progressive and conservative factions divided, Wilson secured a decisive victory in the Electoral College. The election of 1912 marked the end of the Progressive Party as a viable political force and signaled the triumph of Wilsonian progressivism.
For Roosevelt and Taft, the aftermath of the election was bittersweet. Despite his defeat, Roosevelt remained a political force, continuing to advocate for progressive ideals and playing a role in shaping the political landscape. Taft, on the other hand, returned to private life, his presidency overshadowed by the bitter rift with his former friend.
The legacy of the Roosevelt-Taft rivalry extended beyond the election of 1912. It left an enduring impact on the Republican Party, contributing to its internal ideological struggle between progressive and conservative factions. The progressive movement, fueled by the ideals of Roosevelt's new nationalism, continued to shape American politics in the years that followed. In the twilight of their political careers, Roosevelt and Taft attempted to mend fences. Both men recognized the historical significance of their friendship-turned-rivalry and the impact it had on the nation. In the years leading up to World War I, Roosevelt, despite his earlier reservations, supported Taft's efforts to promote national unity and preparedness. As the years passed, the animosity between Roosevelt and Taft softened.
In 1918, just a few years after their intense political battle, Roosevelt passed away.
Taft, who had returned to his roots in the legal profession, went on to serve as the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, cementing his place in history as the only person to hold both the presidency and the highest judicial office. The Roosevelt-Taft rivalry, a captivating chapter in American political history, serves as a reminder of the complexities and nuances inherent in the democratic process. It underscores the personal and ideological dimensions of leadership, as well as the challenges of navigating the intricate web of political relationships. The echoes of their clash reverberate through the annals of U.S. history, reminding us that even in the pursuit of shared ideals, friendships can be strained, alliances shattered, and the political landscape forever altered.